Hi everybody, welcome to OC Aviary for episode 5 of Breeding British Birds. I hope you're all doing well. In today's video, we've got excitement from many of the native finches and the mule and hybrid pairs of the bullfinches. We've got young birds being rung, we've got our canaries being rung, we've got some of our young natives, the first of the year, and of course we have to unveil to you the new mini outdoor bird room as well. So please stick around. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you do enjoy, please do subscribe down below. We're trying to hit 10k before the end of the year. So this is the mini outdoor bird room. Now, I did mention this through live streams and stuff as to how this is all going to work. But basically what we have here is an 8-foot block of PVC cages. Each cage front is about 14 to 16 inches wide. So we've got 6 per sort of unit, and we've got 4 units here. So, you know, these are some big cages. They're about 40 centimeters deep, so perfect for the native birds. Much deeper cages, and I do think it does benefit better. These are exactly how I'd have them for the majority of native birds breeding, if I'm honest. Is slightly deeper, slightly taller, and it just works so much better. So, of course, like I said, 8 foot long, and we just have dividers for each of these sections, and then 4 blocks down. Now I've built a stand for this, and then obviously, as you can see, this is outside, and what we had originally was this place as a flight. We had perches up here, we had an area here where we had sort of molting birds, and we did all sorts with this, and then of course we had a window here as well. We don't, as you can see, which takes us into where the redpolls are breeding and so forth. So the reason for doing this was relatively simple. I had the opportunity to get these cages, and I must admit these are superb. I know that these were originally made by Dave Rands. I've had these second hand and stuff. They're brilliant. They're absolutely fantastic. You know, little drawers in them really make it easy for cleaning out like that. Of course, the PVC, so keeping on top of mine is relatively simple with them, and they're just so much easier to clean. I got them home, gave them a jet wash. Don't get me wrong, it took me a few hours, but then it was done. So it's really nice that we've got all that, and we've got various species in here. So we've got a pair of native bullfinches, and by the way, I got these last Saturday. So if you're seeing this video on the Saturday when it came out, I got these a week ago, and we've already got a pair of native bullfinches built up in 1 egg. We've got a hybrid pair, which is a Redpoll bullfinch pair. They've built up, and we've got 3 eggs. We've got Norwich built up, more Norwich looking to build, Redpolls looking to build. Almost all the spare canaries have built a nest, and then we've got a couple of odd spare birds, a spare greeny cock, a spare redpoll hen that's not been quite well, a mule, a greenfinch mule, and we've actually got a hawfinch in here as well. But we'll talk about a bit more in detail in the specific sections of each of these birds throughout the show today. But I just wanted to show you all this. I think it's brilliant. I'm really happy with it. We've got the ventilation coming straight through because this is outdoor, like I said. And I just think it's going to be really nice to have. The birds are going to be happy in it. We've got loads of natural light coming through this roof, and when it's warm, it's just got so much airflow through, it doesn't bother them. So it's really nice, and I hope you like it as much as I do. You've seen various clips of the birds inside it and so forth. So yeah, there you are. That's our new little mini outdoor bird room, and this is not a long-term plan. If you have been in the monthly live streams, by the way, the next one is hopefully this evening. If you're seeing it on the Saturday, we do them every first Saturday of the month. The idea is overall that we've got these cages, and come sort of after the molt, we're going to actually be taking this whole block down and building a massive bird room on it. And these are the main reason I've got it, is because if we get these are quality cages. These are exactly what I would be having in there. So if I've already got myself a block, we're already halfway there. So let's begin with our redpoll pairs. The redpolls have had a really good week, I must admit. So we've got 8 pairs. We've actually added a 9th pair outside in that outdoor bird room. Just had the spare hen. Well, I had 2 spare hens. I managed to pick up a cock from the guy I got the cages from. So what we've done is the redpolls are getting on relatively well. We've got the cinnamons down on eggs. They are due in 3 days' time. So hopefully for next episode, we'll have some young redpolls to look at, the first of the year of the young redpolls. The normal pairs, we've got really exciting news with both of them. Both the pairs are here. We've got a hen on 5 eggs and a hen on 4 eggs. Now, the hen on 4 has laid the 4th today, so maybe there's a 5th. There could even be more than that. I've had them lay up to 8 before. I've not checked them if they're full, either of them, because they've not been sat long enough. But 2 of the normal pairs and 2 arguably what are the best pairs of normals are on eggs. So fingers crossed that those eggs are full. It's great news that we've got that. And then the other pairs, they're getting on okay. Ups and downs. Now that it's the start of May, the first week in May, I would expect Redpolls to be going down now. And I always look at it like this. They're going to probably go down slightly earlier in captivity because we provide them everything they need. But as a minimum, or at latest, it should be when the wild Redpolls go down, is when our captive Redpolls should go down. Because if they don't, then there could be something wrong. So we have got to take into account, are we doing something wrong? Is there anything I can change to get them to go down? Well, we've got a pair at the far end we changed up a few weeks ago after one of the hens took ill, and that pair has built up now. They've not laid laid an egg yet, but for 3 or 4 of the other pairs, they're getting on well. They are picking up material. But I'm just hoping that we'll see some nests within the next few weeks from those guys, and they're moving forward just slower than I expected. The Greenfinch is a bit up and down this week, so good news and really good news with the Greenfinches. In flight 2, we've got 3 youngsters. We saw them hatch last week. They are doing brilliant. Their parents are superb. It's the hen that I've bred off multiple times. I know she's a good mum, and it's with my best cockbird as well. Either way, there's 3 chicks in there. We've rang all 3 of them this week, so they take a size E ring. I use BBC rings. You can use IOA as well if you're in the UK. I've just got a BBC account, so I get my BBC rings from there, you know. So 3 chicks in there, all rung, looking really good. The parents are doing their superb job, so I can't fault them any more than that. Hopefully, you know, we'll get another round or 2 out of them, as we would probably expect. You know, 2 or 3 rounds out of a Greenfinch is generally normal. For all the pairs, well, we've got a pair rebuilding in flight 3. In flight 4, we've got them back on eggs, just not yet to candle. In flight 5, they're building up, just not laid an egg yet. I expect it'll be soon. But in flight 1, we had good news and it turned to bad news. Welcome to British birds, by the way. This often happens. They're not easy to breed, and there's always problems. There's always heartache, and stuff like that. So what's happened is we had 2 chicks hatch originally out of 5 eggs from this pair. This was yesterday. And I saw the chicks in the morning. I thought they're looking brilliant. Parents, I've seen them feeding them. Fantastic, no problem. Come back in about 3 hours later and there's 2 chicks on the floor and their legs had been eaten off. Now, you've got to think, what can you put this down to? I immediately sort of ruled out vermin, because there's no way they could possibly get in here, so it can't be a mouse. It's often one of the parents, and it's usually the cockbird. And this goes for most birds, is that it's usually going to be the cockbird. Anyway, it turns out it was the male Greenfinch. I'd seen him then picking up the dead chicken. I just thought, this is not what we want. This is not good. So I took the cockbird out, put him in one of the different cages, and just left the hen to it. Now, we had another chick hatch this morning. And I thought, well, I'm surprised that not more have hatched. So I did check the eggs, and sadly 2 of the eggs were sort of stopped developing about, I don't know, day 7, halfway through. But we had one chick in the nest that would literally hatched this morning. And as soon as a bird's got 1 chick, they can sometimes leave the nest because they see it as pointless. Why, rearing this 1 chick. And I've had it before with Greenfinches, so I decided to take that chick away, and we've popped it under a feeder canary in the other bird room, and they are feeding it. So that's good news. That we've managed to save 1 chick. Obviously 2 eggs clear and 2 chicks died, which is annoying, but it happens, and we're just going to have to keep an eye on this cockbird. So we'll let the pair go down again. we'll get 5 eggs from them, and then as soon as I know the eggs are full, we'll take the cockbird away, leave the hen to try and sort and rear all 5 on her own. So hopefully, you know, fingers crossed, more positive news from that pair in the future. And I'm just hoping over the next few weeks we get more activity with the other pairs. Hopefully we should. You know, they are moving in the right direction. It's up and down. You know, you get good things happen, you get bad things. So yeah, there you are. That's the Greenfinches for you this week. This first week in May has been interesting for the mule and hybrid pairs. We've got negatives and positives from both sides. We'll talk about that now. So beginning with our first pair of lesser Redpoll cross Bullfinch, I've took the nest out. Originally they built a nest, they laid an egg, I fostered that, it was clear, they laid 2 eggs and I fostered those. But they never really had any consistency of laying those eggs in a clutch and then the hen sitting. Not sure why. I'm really struggling to understand quite why this is happening. So I have made changes. We took the nest out, let the hen rebuild, and I've also added a lot more cover at that end. Maybe if the hen's being disturbed off the nest, maybe she doesn't feel quite secluded enough. I'm not sure. Well, anyway, they've laid an egg about 3 days ago. I went in, I thought, I'll check. I know she's built a few days ago and there was a first egg. She'd had to have laid it that morning, I assume. And then come in today, 3 days later, and there's no other eggs. There's just one single egg in there. And then what I've noticed on the floor was some eggshell. Now, it's not like we've had some chicks hatching in a nest I didn't know about. So, therefore, I can only put this down to an egg-eating bird. Now, one or the other, it's either the Redpoll or it's the Bullfinch hen, and I'd be surprised if it was the Bullfinch hen. You know, you do get the odd one, but it's generally going to be the cockbird, and I've had problems with lesser Redpoll cocks doing this before. We'll talk about that in a second with another pair, but that pair, again, they've laid an egg, so I'm going to foster it out, and hopefully it's full. And all I can think to do now is every time that she lays an egg, I'll swap it out for a fake egg. We'll let her lay a clutch, and then hopefully she'll sit on them and we'll remove the Redpoll, and hopefully all goes well with that. So we'll see what happens. For the Greenfinch Bullfinch pair, good news. 5 eggs. She's been sat on them about 4 days now, so it's too early to candle. However, I'll probably candle them sort of mid next week for you. And let's just hope that we've got some full eggs from that pair. They look promising. I've seen them feeding each other, so it does mean that they are bonded. And we've just got to hope that he's, you know, he's mated with her and one of those eggs is full. If we get any more than one, you know, I'd be happy with any full egg. But if we got more than one, that would be amazing. So we'll see how they get on. Fingers crossed, everything goes okay, and we might get some good result from those guys. Then this is a pair that we paired up about 2 weeks ago. We had a native Bullfinch hen with a clear white Norwich. She beat him up. He was in a bit of a mess. I pretty much ruled the season out for him. So what I've done instead was put a spare lesser Redpoll cock with the bully hen. We'll have 2 pairs of Redpoll bully, and maybe we'll get a full egg, you know, increases chances. Well, anyway, they're in this cage here, in the, you know, this sort of triple here. The pair have laid 3 eggs now in a nest that they've built at the far end. Well, this is where it gets more exciting. This is where I was actually quite shocked. I saw them mating the other day. You know, I saw the bully hen squat and the Redpoll jump on, and I was really surprised because they'd only been together a week or 2 at the time. And they clearly bonded and just clicked, and he's mated with her. So fingers crossed, we could have some Redpoll bullies on the way. Now, I've removed their eggs as well because I did see the Redpoll looking like it was going to break some eggs, and I'm not risking it. So we've put some pot eggs under her for the moment. She's only laid 3rd today, so we'll let her lay the full clutch, let her sit, slide the Redpoll cock off, put the real eggs back in, and let's hope we could have some Redpoll bullies on the way. But really good news from this pair, and I just hope we might get something. The Bullfinches this week have been interesting, to be honest. So since we got those new cages, the new block of cages, I decided that because the pair weren't really getting on, they were falling out, and I just couldn't, you know, I didn't want to cause any problems. I didn't want them to fight with each other or anything like that unnecessarily. So I've removed the cockbird, put him in one of those cages, and then we've just left the hen on her own in this flight. Now, what I have seen is confidence pick up massively. Suddenly she's gone from sort of sticking at one end of the flight and the other. She's actually flying across. She's going down to the floor a lot more, picking up all of the insects we've got for them, and just overall being a more active and more promising bird. Now, I have seen that she's been to the nest site because I've seen that the nest liner was actually upside down the other day. Therefore, she's the only thing that could have flipped that. So I think she's interested, and let's hope that, you know, that could lead us somewhere. Now, bullfinches are a very difficult species to breed anyway. That's why there's so few of them in captivity. And I just hope that we might be able to get some luck from them this year. So my overall plan is we're going to leave the cockbird out now he's been out 4 or 5 days. We're going to leave him out for a good week. And I'm hoping that by doing that, the bullfinch hen will be more confident. She'll hopefully look to build a nest. And then if she builds a nest, maybe that's when we'll reintroduce him. So hopefully he can mate with her and we might get some full eggs. I don't know, we'll see what happens. And just fingers crossed that we could get some luck from those guys. So just in this nest pan here is our Twite hen. Now, we've got a pair of Twites, never bred them before, my first time with them, and this is a proven pair. Their hen went to nest as we saw in last week's episode, and she's now got 5 eggs underneath her, and all 5 are full. I candled them this morning. She's been sat about a week now, and I'm really excited. I think it's, you know, they're not an easy bird to breed at all, and I think just having those, you know, she's gone to nest anyway, we've got some eggs, and then the full, it really does, you know, make me look forward to seeing what happens with them and the future with, could we have some more could we have Twites on the way, and could we look to build, you know, and breed more Twites in the future. So I've had some advice about removing the Twite cock. A friend had a Twite cock in really good condition, and the hen wasn't quite as far forward, and the Twite cock killed her. Now, I don't want that to happen with this pair. However, I've tried to remove the Twite cock. I can't just divide him off in this cage, and the hen looked to be quite disturbed and not happy if I'd removed him. And it's a really fine line here where I want to remove him for the sake of the hen, so we don't have any problems with him trying to attack the hen or chicks or anything like that. But then I'm at the point where, well, if the Twite hen comes off the nest, we could have no chicks at all. So it's a really fine line, and I'm not quite sure what to do. So I think I'm going to try again, and hopefully we can remove him safely. The hen will be happy, and the Twite cock will be happy. We'll chuck him with a Canary hen, and we'll try for a Twite Mule. You know, I'm sure he'll be happy doing that. So we'll see what happens, but fingers crossed we might, you know, all goes well with these guys and we get some good results. They're not due next week, they're due sort of early the following week, so it won't be next week's episode that we could have baby Twites, it'll be the week after. So do make sure you stay tuned if you want to catch up on the progress with our Twites as well as all the other birds. As we spoke about earlier with our native bullfinches, we've got a young pair. We've got a hen that I bought in and a cockbird actually from the Canary room that was bred last year. So we've got a lovely pair of native bullies, yellow hen, buff cockbirds. So this pair we have had paired naturally now a good few months, because they do generally in the wild bond in pairs through the winter flocks, and then I just thought it'd probably be the safer option. So we've put a nest site in here. It's actually quite like a Norwich nest site, same idea. It's a really deep nest pan with a sort of hang on the front and a little perch on it, and we've put a cocoa liner in that, and the pair have got on really well. Really good signs over the past few weeks anyway, and then as soon as I introduced the nest pan, the hens built up, and we've got the first egg today. So, you know, hopefully all going well, we could have some young bullfinches on the way, native bullfinches. I've yet to breed native bullies. We had a pair about 4 or 5 years ago in my first year ever with British birds. And we just didn't have much luck. We lost the hen and then lost the cockbird shortly afterwards. So never had much luck with those guys since then, and never tried native bullies after. We've bred Siberians, you know, for 2 or 3 years after that, but the natives is a bit different. So looking forward to seeing how we get on. Good news with those guys is that we've got the first egg today. So fingers crossed that egg's full, and next week I'm sure we'll have the hen sat and we'll see how she's doing from there. It's been a rather exciting week with the Canaries too, with everything else going on. So with our 7 pairs that are in this bird room, we've first got our Portuguese Harlequins. Now we've got a lighter cockbird and a darker hen, so they're getting on well, and we got 2 eggs from them a few weeks ago that we've then put under a different pair of feeders. I believe they're full. We'll find out soon. They're due next week anyway, so we'll see what happens. But they're getting on all right now. We did have to remove the fake eggs, so I'm just going to let them go down again. The next pair of Portuguese Harlequins below them, their chick has been rung, so we rang him about 4 days ago. He's doing excellent. The pair are feeding him so well, and he's looking a nice bird. He's a darker base bird, but he's got a couple of light flight feathers on him, a couple of odd little light feathers throughout him, and then a rather lighter underbelly. So he's looking a nice bird. The pair below, we've got a pair of yellow dimorphics rearing some yellow agate opals. 2 chicks there, both doing well, both rang today, and I'm using E-rings for these guys, by the way. It's suggested G-rings, and I did use those last year, but I found that they were so loose that there was some of the new colour Canaries where it was almost slipping off them. So that's why I've opted for E's, thinking, a Greenfinch takes a size E, so a Canary of that size should be fine. And of course, if there's any problems, I'm going to cut them off. We're not going to take any risks. But they did seem to be the better size for the Canaries anyway, than compared to what they're recommended being. Those 2 chicks are doing well. Rang them both today, and they're being fed well. I am surprised that is the colour of them. I know obviously they're agate, so they're going to be silver based, but I did expect a bit more yellow, and they're looking really silver in the nest at the moment, but that's fine. I assume when they molt out, they're going to come out a lot more yellow. The pair below, yellow agate opals on 4 eggs. They're due in a few days time. We've got feeders on eggs, their own and Portuguese. They're doing well. The Irish Canaries, now this is where it gets interesting. The Irish have laid 3 eggs. 1 was clear, 2 were full. And what's happened is we had a feeder chick hatched the other day. 1 egg was full out of all of them. The Norwich weren't full, so there was 1 chick that was due. It hatched the other day, so I've popped it under the Irish, and then also popped the young Greenfinch chick we mentioned earlier under them as well, because there was only 1 in the nest. So anyway, we've made up a nest of 2, a Greenfinch and a Canary. The Irish have took to them immediately, and they're feeding. So really good news with that, and it's quite a relief as well. The Razzers, they were on 4 eggs. 1 was clear. So I've left them with 3 of their own, and then also put the 2 full Irish eggs underneath them. So they're on 5, all of which are full. Now, I've set the Razzers purposefully at the same time as the Twites. And the reason being is I want to make sure that if there's any problems with any young Twites, we can put them under the Razzers almost immediately. A Razzer's a similar size to a Twite, and I think they'll rear those youngsters pretty comfortably. And we can always, if we need to, mix nests. We can always put a Twite or 2 under the Irish, under the Razzer even, and we'll see how we get on. So good things from those guys, and really good. Now, in the outdoor bird room, this is where it was all a bit crazy, to be honest. So we'll pop out there and we'll take a look. So do remember that most of the birds that are in this section were deemed spares. Most of the Canaries were all spares, but having the option for feeders is useful, and trying to breed a few extras is always good as well. So we've got 6 pairs of lighter breeds here. We've got a pair of Norwich and another pair of Norwich that are semi-spare birds as well. Good news with these guys. So yellow agate opals at the end, paired up. Everything went in here on Saturday, so a week ago. They've got 3 eggs. They built up and laid in just a few days. We've got another pair of yellow agate opals on 2. We've got a pair of yellow dimorphics with 1. Another pair of Irish with 1 egg. We've got a yellow agate opal hen, and I believe it could be something to do with ivory. I'm not sure. It's a relatively light bird. Put it with a Twite Mule. The Twite Mule is supposedly fertile. We don't know yet. We need to see if it is. So we've put them together as another pair of feeders, and then we've got a crossbred feeder, a clear cinnamon crossbred feeder hen with the red factor based cock, who was with the white and blue variegated feeder hen. We just put him in there because he was causing problems with the other hen he was with. So we're going to let those guys go down, hopefully get some young from them. So it gives us 6 other options as feeders. It's a really ideal system, is that we've got, you know, 13, 14 pairs of canaries that we can have just as feeders if we need them for anything, whether that be more canaries, Norwich, Greenfinches, Redpolls, bully hybrids, you name it, we've got something that's likely going to be able to feed them and take them. We've also got our Norwich behind. That hen put the nest site in and she took straight back to it, and she's rebuilt up. No egg yet. Hopefully it'll come in the next day. And then we've got the spares that they're not doing anything at the moment. I did see the mate earlier. We've got a cinnamon hen and a clear white cock bird. I saw the mate earlier. I was quite surprised actually. And we'll see if they do anything as well. So really good news from the canaries. Looking quite good anyway with them. They're feeding the youngsters well, and it's great. It just gives us plenty of options, you know, all sorts of feeder options. So great news with these guys. So there you have it, guys. That is Breeding British Birds episode 5. I hope you've enjoyed the show today. I hope you like the new bird room we've worked on. Obviously, it's nothing extravagant. It's not going to be because obviously, like I said, in a few months' time, we're taking this whole place down and building a really big bird room on it instead. So it didn't need to be the most special and most lovely looking thing anyway. It just needed to be ideal and practical for all our spare birds and to get a couple of more pairs of birds down as well. So really good with those guys, and I am really pleased with the cage as well. Massive thanks to the guy who I've got them from as well. I'm not going to say names just anyway, but you know, huge thank you. So really good from with all those. The Redpoll's obviously good news, they're picking up. Twite's on full eggs, I'm really pleased with. Bullfinch is moving in the right direction. Frustrating, but it is what it is. Greenies, you know, ups and downs, chicks rung, which is great, and then, you know, losing chicks, but it happens. You know, this is breeding British birds. They're not easy birds to breed, and that's it's as simple as that. So, you know, we'll see. And then bully hybrids, ups and downs with those as well. So it is what it is. And, you know, and if you want to follow along with that, see how we're getting on throughout the whole season, please do subscribe down below so you don't miss any more of my future content. And if you have enjoyed today's video, smash a like on it and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more of my future content. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'll see you in episode 6 of Breeding British Birds. Take care and thank you very much for watching.